Hello, welcome back to the show. I am your host, the Titanium Fist, and today we're going over One Championships Friday Night Fights 114. Very exciting. Uh, Today was really good. It was a really good show today. Really excellent, above and beyond. Absolutely everything was balls to the wall, 100% of the time. So on the show, we talk about everything martial arts. We're going to go through the whole event, fight by fight. Might miss a fight here and there if I didn't find it particularly interesting. And I'm just going to tell you how I thought it went and explain positions and just give you a real look at the contenders and who I think will be popping up in One Championship's roster, coming up in the next few guys, you know? So I'm going to take screenshots, let you see how it's going, show you stills from the fights, maybe a couple of videos here and there if I'm feeling risque. And let's get going. Let's take a look. I'm your British twat. Let's get going. Let's play. It was a submission grappling event. I need to skip ahead straight to that. So, the submission grappling event was between Tatsukume Sudo and Samuria Makhmedov. Now, I know what we're all thinking immediately. We hear Makhmedov, we think Dagestan, we think, oh god, we're going to die. But this Dagestani actually moved to Thailand. Okay, he's not good. No, I mean, he was very excellent. This was a very interesting grappling match for a number of reasons. Um, the main one being that it just genuinely, it was just a very good grappling match in the sense that it wasn't fan friendly, but it was engaging. So I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. It was exciting. It tried to be exciting. It really did. They were they were both excellent. wasn't wasn't a lot of back and forth. So the match consisted of very effectively in the first, it's one round. In the first minute, basically, Megamedov gets a very good takedown. Very good takedown. I thought that was going to set the tone of the fight in my head. I'm like, okay, this is gonna set the tone. He's gonna be pushing takedowns. He's gonna be pushing. He's gonna be really, really trying to pressure, and he was. But what ended up happening? I wasn't really expecting this. Was Japanese Tatsumi Suda? He did such a good job just controlling everything. Controlled absolutely everything. Not a single thing was out of his control. Literally, damn near flawless performance. Like, he went above and beyond to just. So, the match effectively consisted of leg locks, both very clearly into the leg lock. So, immediately, they engage lots of hand fighting in this fight. Like, immediately. Lots and lots of hand fighting. They really were aggressive about the whole thing. The Japanese man immediately went to get some trips. That he was clearly trying to be the aggressor. That was his goal, was to be aggressive and push. And initially, the Dagestani didn't take it. Initially, he was fighting.
Underway for One Friday Fights 114. One Friday Fights is the global search for the next global superstar, and we got two guys on the submission grappling circuit that are trying to punch their ticket to the big show. Achilles, you start with some hand fighting early on.
That's not really what happened. He gets the takedown. All fairness, beautiful takedown. In my head, he's immediately winning because the other guy had failed a trip in the fight. So he's up points-wise. But he then proceeded to not do anything. In the sense that they both were threatening leg locks the whole time, but Pseudo was just being so persistent and so aggressive with these leg locks. Literally, there's not a point in this match where he is not in the middle of a leg lock. Like, he was demanding to get one of them. He was so aggressive and so tactical about the whole situation. Every time Dragunov did something, jump over his guard, he did a from his butt a Granby roll over him. But Pseudo just immediately back on the leg, and was just perpetually threatening that submission, and he was getting close. Magomedov was tough because there's a lot of moments in this where he is like his leg is hyper extending, and he is just letting it go. Now to get back at this, Nurmagomedov was going for his own heel hooks. Literally, a lot of heel hooks, not as many knee bars in a sense, but he was threatening them back every so often. But it was not nearly as aggressive. It wasn't his priority was surviving. Which I which I understand. I think that's the right move in that situation, but he never was able to push the pace. Was never able to get it going. I'm not a grappler by trade. I think it's profoundly interesting. It's deeply interesting art, and it's very unique, and it's very slow and methodical. It's a lot more hidden than anything else. I love. I'm a striker at heart. I love it. I'm a karate guy. I love watching. It's fluid and beautiful. But there's a certain beauty to the ground game. That's its ruggedness. That fight. Its fight that it has for itself, and it's genuinely this. It's not a beginner friendly match because they basically spend the whole time just on each other's legs. But if you, to any extent, appreciate, understand, compete in jiu-jitsu of some variety, you will watch it and go, "Wow, these guys are good." That's all I think in watching it was, "Wow." I don't know where Chartry got these guys, but he wasn't screwing around like Vasil. He was not. 10 minutes, effectively, they're in leg lock scrambles. That's the entire fight. It was a very clear win for Sudan. Like, I don't think there's a grappling criteria slash scorecard out there that would see it another way at all. I keep in mind that bantamweight, so that's 145 in one championship. I want to get that clarified because, of course, UFC comes bantamweight's 135. Everything up in Asia, everything in Asia's upper weight class effectively. That's like why Demetrius Johnson was still a flyweight contender, even though he was upper weight class. Basically, Asia's a bit smaller, so every weight class is more or less down to size. Middleweight and like light heavyweight are basically the same. I think there's a slight difference. In fact, I think middleweight is the 205, and I think there's another name in there. I need to double check the rankings. It's been a while, but yeah, genuinely incredible match. When I was watching it, all I could think is I'd really like to see Sudo versus Mikey Musumeci. I know there's a weight disparity there, but I think the amount of pressure Sudo just his presence he brings, I think it'd be really interesting because Mikey, of course, just won UFC BJJ. I'd like to see Sudan win bantamweight or one FC title, or at least compete for it, be up there. So let's put this up. So let's put. I think he has a real shot to make it in. It was relatively exciting. One FC bantamweight BJJ title holder. Let's pull this up. It's been a while. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna put it up now. Sorry, it's taking a minute. I believe that's one of the Rotolo brothers. Sorry, I believe it to be one of the Rotolo brothers. See, Athletes, champions. Let's pull up. So we need bantamweight, 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 bantamweight. Strawweight, strawweight, flyweight, flyweight, bantamweight. Okay, world champion, MMA. Featherweight, featherweight, featherweight. One featherweight. Lightweight. Featherweight. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one championship needs to fix their website. Let's start there. But if he's going to compete, I think he's very good. Is he the best? Probably not. I doubt he is. But the amount of presence he gives, I think it'd be a really interesting match for a lot of the top jiu-jitsu guys. That's my take on. Just proof. Judges came to the same conclusion I did.
Very aggressive, able to
unanimous decision. Really, wasn't really close
scorecards.
By any stretch of the imagination. If you did think it was close,
in favor of your winner,
I would
unanimous decision.
On your sets, just because there was just not enough in terms of he just didn't do enough. Sorry, say he just didn't. He just didn't do enough. But yeah, so that was my take on the first match of One Friday Fights 144 Championship. Why did I say championship? That's good. Sorry, it's tired. It's been a long day. But yeah, that's my take on the first event, first match. One Friday Fights 144 submission grappling. Hey, now it is time for my opinions on the next fight on the card, which was Muay Thai. Okay, this is Jiri Ishai versus Youngus Munain. I am definitely butchering that. Jesus, that was bad. 19-year-old versus 23-year-old. 59. 5'9" each. Yeah, weighed 120. Japan versus Morocco. Just straight Muay Thai. I love pure Muay Thai. It is beautiful. I think the 10-point must system works really well for non-grappling sports. I think MMA needs a different one. Sorry, drink. But I find the 10-point must system actually hurts mixed martial arts in the long run because the 10-point must system was made for boxing, which it works amazing for boxing. It works really well. And it translates really well to the other stand-up, combat sports, kickboxing, Muay Thai, dirty boxing, if you want to get really niche, bare knuckle boxing. It works really well. Same karate, point system works phenomenally. However, there are quite a severe reality about grappling aspect of mixed martial arts that it doesn't work on. And I don't know why I'm bringing up this as a Muay Thai match, but just that immediately spoke to me. Also, the age difference between these two. I initially got it wrong on my first viewing because I wasn't paying attention. I was babysitting my little brother, but he I thought the Japanese guy was the younger one, and it wasn't. He was the older guy. So it completely, I mean, I had to completely shift my perspective of what the hell I was saying because I was just sounding like an absolute idiot. But Morocco versus Japan, very interesting. Both were incredibly skilled, and actually knowing the Japanese guy was the younger guy because I hadn't paid attention on the weigh-ins, not the weigh-ins, but the info sheet like an absolute twat. Actually, it's given me tremendous, even more tremendous respect for this guy because the whole fight, he is the more tactical fighter. So the whole basically Japan versus Morocco. The fellow representing Japan, he does an amazing job managing distance, timing strikes. Whereas Morocco, very clearly, he has very heavy hands. His kicks are violent and super, super on point. Like, truly incredible kicks. But the issues he was running into was he'd get a beautiful kick, he'd get in range, and he would just swing like a madman, like an absolute lunatic. And in moments it worked, like it was great for certain bits of the fight. But in the long run, it didn't pan out. And it was so jarring, the skill in this young man, because it's not like power wise, like the older man. I think he was stronger, and his athleticism was carrying him through the match. However, it's not like they were far off in any sense of the imagination. And the amount of technical precision in both kicks, punches, elbows that she showed, like at 19 years old. Crazy to think he's a year older than me. Like I've been out for like 3 years of karate. I'm not as technical as I once was. I can still move, but like the fact he could out technique a man almost almost literally double his age, like almost double his age, is insane. Right, let me just check that on the age thing because I was not paying. Let's see. Yeah. 19 versus 20. Wow, I was way off on that. I just got so caught up on the fact he's 19. But like 4 years older than. It doesn't sound like a lot, but these are young men and they're fighting, and it's just I'm so blown away with the tactical ability of Ishii. I genuinely can't describe how fundamentally flawless his techniques look to me. Like they are damn near flawless, and that's something that you reserve for a very select set of individuals. Demetrius Johnson, for example, he is my greatest MMA fighter of all time. He has a near flawless technique in everything he does. To say this about a 19-year-old is ludicrous. It's fundamentally ludicrous that he has some of the crispest kicks and boxing that you just slips the elbows in it. It's like it's difficult to explain how beautiful it is if you don't already know how beautiful it is. Does that make sense? But the fact that Monine at 23, not quite as technical, but he has some hands on him, and he relies on that too much. And I think both of them could be vicious 125 or 115 competitors in Muay Thai. They could be vicious. Ishii is my favorite to go on and keep winning these Friday night fights because he just looked like a world beater. Like, it's a lot to say because Munin, like, you're arguing over are these guys they're bringing in that level, like, especially with Muay Thai, they're that level because Muay Thai is such a national sport. It is. But, oh my god, just the way he sets some of these up. Like Munin feints high, Ishii gets in, bam, 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 bam. Literally sets, ooh, back, ooh, in, peekaboo. Beautiful. Just it, the way his strikes to the body specifically are like so impressive. Like basic karate style, your 1-2 is one to the head, one to the body. That is your basic, and it literally to a T, faint smash. It's so fast, I get these are smaller guys. Smaller guys are always incredible. But it's just at 19 he's got that technical knowledge. And against a guy who I'd imagine hits harder than him, because Muneen, the way he's relying on his striking, it's not nearly as crisp as Ishii's. Muneen's striking is very power reliant, and you see that in the way he effectively only throws hooks for most of the fight. He knows he's got knockout power, and that's what he relies on. One, Muneen's Ishii's chin holds up flawlessly. He sets up body strikes like it's second nature to him, and it's just he flows so cleanly into the elbows when he throws them. It's literally set up, set up, set up, opening, smash, out, in. It's just it's such a familiar style to me, but he does it so well. I've seen a number of guys, and like karate. Bring up karate. I know I like to bring back to karate and kickboxing. So it's the example that I am best at. Karate, that is our style. You blitz in, you tag the body, you duck in, you get out, you reset, you you pick out, you get in close, you rip, you get out. It's very reminiscent of that, and he does such a good job mixing it with the Muay Thai clinch. Like he just measures distance, he gets, and when he's in close, Muneen does this quite a lot in the fight. He tries to close it in and keep it relatively clinched because he wants to knock him out. But Ishii, he just doesn't let it stop him at all. Doesn't let it stop him. He just gets out, he wades through, he resets. Granite Chin hits plenty hard. His body shots are evidence enough of that. That's what puts Muneen down in the end. It's his body shots, and like it just technically in like he throws such pure technique. His grabs are excellent. He's very good at countering the kicks, which is Muneen's specialty. Muneen is so good at kicking. Like his kicks are as well damn near perfect. Like he's got some flawless kicks on him. And he uses that. And his hands are nowhere near as good. And it's like the drop that he gets on him. It's just fracture the liver. Very, very Bas Rutten, but it is such technical. He's so technical, and he knows they both know exactly who they are. It's just one has done the work to improve upon that just a bit more. But she knows that his ability lies in measuring distance and then closing the gap, taking it on his terms. And he's very good at dealing when someone tries to force their way onto him. Like Muneen's trying to force the fight and getting close to no knockout. Ishii respects that enough to get out of there and trade with him when it's in his best interest. It is such good fundamentals, and just the way he sets up the body shots he does, it is his bread and butter. He knows he can hit hard, and he's put in so much work to master what he needed to master to make it efficient. And that's not saying Muneen's not good. Muneen in this is just incredible. Like he has got his kicks, like just listening to them, he's kicking correctly. Like that sounds weird, but when you've heard so many kicks go off, you can hear when one lands good, and you can hear when one lands a bit. Oh, you hit the side of your foot with that one. You didn't hit the sole. You can hear Muneen's kicks hit hard, and he hits them dead on target. And it's so impressive from both these two young men. Um, they're older than me, just barely. I need to get back in shape. I need to get punch people in the face again quite clearly, you know. But literally all I can say is they are so good at such a young age, and it is they are the future of these divisions. Like I was sat when I was watching the fight the first time. I was literally sat there saying, "Give them both a contract. Give them both the contract," because it just there is a future for both these lads. Muneen needs to just up his technicality and get better at because his kicks are phenomenal. But he doesn't use his kicks to set up his hands good enough, which is clearly what he likes to do. He likes to use his hands to get that big finish. The commentators talk about his head kicks. Now, I didn't see a lot of him setting up the head kicks too much. A lot of body work and a lot of leg work. But Ishii is also just maybe that good. Ishii was good enough to close those gaps, use the body shots to nullify a lot of what he was doing. I think it's just styles make fights, and I think he just had his number. Just had his number. You can tell I much prefer striking. But genuinely, it's just everything. Crisp, smooth, where he feints, it's just he slips these big punches, and it's clear that Ishii has put in the work to just do that. And I think how I don't want to phrase this like I'm being mean. Munin, he's got by off his own talent too much. Does that make sense? His kicks are great, and it's clear he loves them. But he's just always swinging hooks. Like, let me go back. I literally, so I watched this as I record. I rewatch just to make sure I get an act to remember it as good as I can. So he throws a straight hook, 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 hook. Just threw 2 hooks. When he was, so he ducked out the way of those jukes. If he'd have simply thrown a 2, which I don't know is a straight off the back, he'd have whacked Ishii right in the face. And assuming he's got as much power as his style seems to indicate he does, that would have done enough to get Ishii in a place to be punished. So once he hits the chin, you slip in under, cut, and start hooking, grab knees, because Thai boxing, slip in, big axe at elbow, and you just keep popping. Just keep popping Ishii with good, hard, clean shots. Because the issue with the tactician, and I know because this is my style, I like to be quick, I can take a beating, but at some point, there's too much pressure. Ishii in that style, it's very good. It hits hard, and it's really good at just getting in there, backing out, and just controlling the whole thing. But if you can just apply pressure with good, clean shots, you basically have to piss them off. If you keep them with the good, clean shots, it just wears ever so slightly. It's not necessarily the big firefights that will wear him down. It's being out-tacted because it's his bread and butter, and if you can make him feel inadequate, the thing he's best at, it's shattering, and it's such a mental game. But Munin just kept every time I thought he was getting kind of a bit of momentum, he started grappling and just started pushing. And it's like Munin, one, you should do this differently, and 2, if you're going to do it the way you're doing it, commit, and you need to push. You can't just try and grapple your way over it, even if he's tired. I think it was an issue of gas tank as well. Take a drink. There you. But yeah, it's a bit of an issue of maybe it was an issue of gas tank, maybe conditioning. I couldn't tell you. But these young lads, they really do seem like the future of this kind of style, Muay Thai. Because at this age, they are so evenly matched, and it's just the minute details. It's just the minute ones. All the little things are just slightly better, slightly worse. And I hope they both get contracts, because I would love to see them run this back after they both been through a gauntlet. Ishii, I think, is ready. Just off that, his ability to adapt, his knowledge of who he is and how to work. Get him in there. I'd love to see it. I think he will either crumble under the pressure or look incredible. Rooney's clearly got some swagger, he's got confidence, but he's clearly never been. His power is like clear. At least to me, his power has always equalized him in bits where he was a bit rusty, a bit off. And literally, I think all he need was for a week and however long his training camp, or even a couple of days, It just 3 days, literally all fundamentals, managing distance with the jab and the straight. His hooks are incredible, just jab cross, jab cross, jab cross. Just a couple of days of just those fundamentals of distance to close those gaps and to just make him a complete fighter, effectively. So that's all it felt like, was it just a bit incomplete. But he was just also so incredibly good. Like, it's just so incredible. Genuinely. Absolutely. Can you tell I like striking? Kickboxing, my favorite sport. But yeah. That's my opinion on the second fight of the card. Muay Thai. Thank you, One Championship. I think I'm gonna mostly focus on the more exciting bits now, because I've kind of realized if I went through literally every single fighter, I will do that on live streams. I will literally give my live commentary and live feedback, but I think I'm just gonna do the ones that excited me now, which is like 5, which is like 2 more, maybe 3, because I just realized I'll be here for very, very long. I like to not do that. I'd like to have a life. Chee-hoo. Alrighty then. Okay, off to a good start. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm gonna go two more fights on the card. The insane Muay Thai fight that happened, and the final bout. Out of nothing more than just so many fights. I'd love to do it all, but just not right now. So I'm just finding the insane Muay Thai fight that happened. These guys had fought each other 5 times. It was near the end. Wasn't blue hair. Here we go. I think it was this one. Yeah. These guys have fought each other 5 times. And it shows. They went to war. Like, you know, you hear people say, oh, it was a war back and forth. And you sit there and go, it was fine. You know, nothing incredibly special. But these two, they just went ham. Absolute went ham on each other. Like, if you ever have someone who doesn't in your life that doesn't really like combat sports, this is the fight you show them to explain why you're so excited. Because these two, it's very obvious they have fought each other a lot. I mean, 5 times is a lot to face just anyone. These guys literally have fought 5 times. It went all 3 rounds. It's very obvious they knew each other. They just knew each other so well. Like it's a masterclass of Muay Thai striking. And this is why I said Ishii was so good, and that's why I specifically brought him up in the breakdown. Because he was my favorite fighter on the card, just from a technical standpoint, and his style is it's just something I love. But the fights them 5 times, you get their style, you parry punches the same, your moves clash a lot because you're both countering each other because you both know exactly what you're going to do. You know, it's why when you spar someone a lot, you just start countering, counter, and it just ends up in a chess match of pure counters, and it's marvelous to watch. And it's just this was a full contact sparring session, and they just went for it. Yeah. So Scan versus Muantang 140. Yeah, these are the right fights. But they genuinely, it was so obvious they'd fought before. But this is what I'm saying. These guys have fought before 5 times. How are they not in one FC right now? Just from the firefight they have against each other. You just run it back with them in one full time. That's the point. Like I'm going to use these guys to explain why Ishii's so good because he made it look like this against somebody he'd never fought before, who was older than him, had more experience than him, and it's just so incredible. These guys, perfect Muay Thai, back and forth, bashing and bashing and bashing and bashing. It just was flawless. That's literally all I can say about that contest. Flawless. Judge's decision, 100% agree with. Like, not a part of me didn't agree with the decision. Every single part of me agreed. It was excellent on both ends. Just it was really clear who got it in the end. You can have wars, have competitive wars, and still have a very clear winner, in my opinion. You know, it's just the way it is. It was so impeccable. It really was. Great fight with both these guys. Nothing else I can say. It was just incredible. Truly incredible. Okay, so skipping to the last fight of the card. Sorry about the shoddiness of this. You know, it's the first time doing this properly. So in future, I'll do a watch along and break it down as it happens, and just there'll be a lot more informative and it'll go over every fight. This is just going off the fights that served me and that I enjoyed. And of course, got to cover the last one. Sangit versus Sun Black. Very good fight. You know, Muay Thai, always going to be a banger. Everything it needed a kind of a main event to be. You know, it did everything. You know, very good fight. There's not a whole lot that I can say. You know, competitive in moments. Of course, you know, had yeah, of course you had Rotang in the corner. I of course initially had you know Sangit to win because if you're gonna bring Rotang into your corner, I'm assuming that he has imparted a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge into you. Just lost the fight. First round was relatively competitive. First round to go. You know, very good. But it just a whole lot of nothing. It's weird to say about Muay Thai fight. Of course, it's always entertaining. But it was another Muay Thai fight. You know, good shots, did everything. Everyone was so good. You know, Sun Black was just on point in this fight. It was horn or horn, bell or bell, whatever your turn of phrases. I mean, he got heel hook and stuff. Like, he just, enough knockdowns, amazing pressure, did everything perfectly. I was obviously picking, you know, Rotang's guy to win. You never bet against Rotang. That's just a rule. You just don't. We got the knockdowns, great shots. Just Sang Sangeeth tried to bring it back in the last round, but he just kept grappling over and over again. And by that point, Sun Black had done more than enough to win. And some of the shots he was doing were just beautiful. Just really clear decision. Really, really clear. But again, both amazing. Sun Black, I think I get we don't know this again, don't know the skill of this guy. But Rotang was confident enough in him to be in his corner. Sun Black, rankings 1 now. You know, just very clear that he won. horn to horn, bell to bell. It's his night. Great, amazing enough to the night. In the moment, it was really good. Watching back now, it just outclassed him everywhere. But it was really good. Yeah. Thank you all for listening / watching. It means a lot. This is a big passion of mine. So just thank you. And I'll be here for all your martial arts related inquiries. I have opinions on all of it. See you soon.